This weekend, Kang was properly introduced in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. He is our new big bad in the MCU. That raises the question, who is Kang in the comics? And what can the comics tell us about Kang to help us get an idea of where things are headed with the MCU? Now, I don't have answers to any of those questions, so I invited Andy over here to answer those questions. So we're gonna talk about it live at Fan Expo Portland. Woo. So as I said before, I'm not an expert on the comics, but Andy, who knows how to read, I barely know how to read, he actually knows how to read and does read, so he has a greater knowledge of the comics, so I invited him to kind of answer some of my questions about who Kang is to help me prepare, get my excitement level in the right place for the future of the MCU. So, question number one, who is Kang in the comics as a villain?
Thank you for asking, Sean. So, Kang is a time traveler, first and foremost, right? But he's also a historian from the 31st century. He discovered Dr. Doom's time travel technology and traveled back in time with the intent of conquering ancient Egypt. So, he was a pharaoh for a bit. Now, he was stopped by the Fantastic Four in his first appearance in Fantastic Four number 19. He has multiple different variants, as we've heard in the movie, in Loki. But he has multiple different identities in the main Marvel universe, including as a member of the Young Avengers, Iron Lad, and Scarlet Centurion, who challenges the Grand Master, played by Jeff Goldblum, in the MCU.
So what is his kind of goal as a villain, trying to conquer multiverses, but where's he going with all of this?
So his kind of goal is conquering all civilizations, right? And I mean, not just on our Earth.
So, I mean, we all have that goal essentially, right?
Yeah,
so he's kind of very relatable because we all want to conquer civilizations.
He's just like me for real.
Exactly.
So he's wanting to conquer all civilizations, but also all timelines, right? So it's not just about ancient Egypt. That's like a start to him. He wants to work with the Council of Kang, so all his past, present, future selves from every reality, to make a perfect timeline without superheroes that they have total and utter control over.
Okay. Well, you're getting ahead of ourselves. I think we're going to talk about that just a little bit. But who is he usually associated with? You touched on this a little bit, but say it a little bit more. Who are the people he normally ties to?
So the Fantastic Four is kind of that first name that pops up in terms of who he's associated with or was. But his actual name is Nathaniel Richards, who is Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic's dad, who also happens to be a time traveler, interestingly enough.
Which, once again, is very relatable because I, too, am a time traveler.
So,
who else is he associated with?
So, it's up to speculation that he may also be a descendant of Dr. Doom, hence how he found his technology. But more recently in the comics, he's associated with the Avengers as an Avenger villain, even with the X-Men as a touch and go. But also Squadron Supreme, which is like Marvel's version of the Justice League.
Okay. And what are his powers? What makes him a threat?
So he doesn't actually technically have powers naturally, like a mutant or something like that, but he's from the far future, right? 31st century. He has access to time travel technology. He can control and manipulate energy and matter. And he's, super smart. He's got a superhuman intellect, and he's proficient in hand-to-hand combat.
Okay, so taking what you kind of said, touched on this a little bit, but it was kind of reported this past week that one of the goals of Kang in the future is to create a timeline without superheroes. Mm-hmm. In light of what's in the comics, pull that together for me. What does that reveal about what we can expect from Kang Dynasty and the next couple years of Marvel movies?
So, as I said earlier, he's all about wiping out timelines so that he has one true branch, one true timeline that is what he can control alongside his other variants, his other selves.
Actually, I'll pause you right there.
Oh, yeah.
So Thanos, our previous big bad, he actually was trying to save the universe by killing it.
Yes.
I'm not crazy about Thanos' plan, but there's something in there where there's a bit of logic to it of there's some purpose to serve. Mm-hmm. You're saying Kang is just a conqueror. It's just ego or whatever it is.
So with Thanos, you have someone who is slightly redeemable or at least rational to an extent in the MCU. Kang kind of just sucks.
What I heard you say is that genocide is rational and redeemable.
Well, it's kind of like
I'm going to clip that out.
But yeah, Kang is a conqueror. I mean, to the point that when he conquers other realities, dimensions, civilizations, he'll even just take souvenirs. Like he's got Captain America's shield, Thor's hammer from different realities. So nothing's off the table. And he'll use some of those technologies and artifacts and even soldiers from those different timelines to bolster his own army and his own power sets.
Can you lift Thor's hammer, or how did he transport it?
I can't. Oh, you mean him. So actually, there are different, so based on the timeline, like the Ultimate Marvel Universe, different versions of Thor's hammer have different properties. So in the Ultimate Universe, Magneto can lift Thor's hammer because he can work with the magnetic properties of Thor's hammer's metal.
In case the mics didn't pick up the question, it's actually a great question.
Yeah.
How is he able to pick up Thor's hammer? So answer is, in different timelines, there's different rules for the hammer. Just glad that I had no idea. That's a great question. How was he able to do that? But to kind of tie a few different things you mentioned in there. So like a council of Kangs, like there's going to be a bunch of Kangs. It's not.
Yes.
There was one Thanos, actually kind of two Thanos, but one Thanos essentially. And you're saying with Kang, we got a lot of Kang coming.
So that's what's wild. There's not just like a past Kang, a future Kang, a present Kang, but there's also points in time where those split off, right? So there could be two concurrent versions of Kang in the same timeline, in the same reality. So you multiply that by 1 billion or however many galaxies there are, and you've got a lot of Kang, whole lot of Kang.
Should we refer to him as Kangs instead of just Kang as the expert?
Yeah, let's just go for it. Kangs it is.
We got this. Final question on here. For the people watching in the room, what are some classic Kang comic book runs if they, unlike me, know how to read and would do some research?
So the Fantastic Four from 1963, starting with issue number 19. This is by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Squadron Supreme Volume 1 from 1985 by Mark Grunwald and John Beatty. Young Avengers Volume 1 from 2005. That's where he's introduced as Iron Lad, so as a member of the Young Avengers. And he's even got a standalone comic recently just called Kang the Conqueror, and that's from 2021.
It's probably called Kang the Conqueror because that's his name.
Quite.
Yes. I've got big old dinosaur brains. All right, thank you so much. And I know I learned a lot from that because I didn't know some of the specifics, and it gives us a little bit of an idea where things are headed. Video 2 has been shot. Woo!